Rev up your engines!
Florence Double X says, Scotty, aren't you afraid of big franchise car companies finding all the negative things you say about them? All they can watch. What am I going to be afraid of, you know? None of them ever sued me. How are they going to sue me? I've been working on cars for 51 years, and I just tell the truth. And, you know, what are they going to say? Like Dodge. Oh, no, we don't make bad automatic transmissions in our minivans. Ha! I know they do, and all the real mechanics know that they do. And telling the truth, people might get mad at you, but what can they do about it, you know? You be honest with people. People appreciate the honesty. Let them complain, but I don't care. You tell the truth. I don't have any worries. I got 51 years experience of backing me up and saying that, oh yeah, you know, back in 69, you made some really good cars, but then you went to this design that was worse, then you changed it there. I probably know more than half of the people that work there about their cars. Teddy says, hey Scotty, I got a Nissan Sentra, 2015, 22,000 miles. When should I trade it in since you said they have CVT problems? Well, it shouldn't have it at that mileage, and here's the problem. It's 2015, so it's 4 years old, right? I'm not gonna get much for it anyways. You trade it in, you're hardly gonna get anything. I've had customers trade them in when they were 5, 6 years old, and they gave them $1,500 for it. So what the heck, you might as well just keep driving it around with the low mileage you have on. Drive it and see how long it lasts, you know? That's basically what I'd say with that, because you're upside down in that car anywhere. You probably owe more money on it than the car's worth, so you might as well just drive it around, see how long it lasts. And it comes to a point in some cars that you are better to just drive them, because you're going to lose so much money anyways. You might as well just drive it and hope that something major doesn't go wrong. And sometimes they don't. Colin O'Hara says, Scotty, what are your thoughts on an 85 to 89 Chevy Camaro? What are certain things to look for? I'm thinking about buying one for $5,000 Canadian. Okay, well, that's not much for a car in Canada, because I know in Canada cars cost more. Everything costs more in Canada. I don't know how you guys can stand it. I mean, I've seen little bungalows in Toronto that they're at $3 million. But that said, they can be fun cars. Now, if you're going to get one, definitely get a V8. Don't get the 6. The 6, bad. They don't run that great, and they have no resale value anyways. If it's a V8, the older the better. If you can get an 85, hey, they are still pretty well made then. You want to have it checked out, you know, the transmission, to make sure it still runs good and drives around and doesn't smoke out the back, burning a lot of oil. That's the main thing. Because some guys get those things and they beat the heck out of them, and then you're stuck with something that did the heck beat out of it. And since $5,000 is still a reasonable amount of money, find a guy like me, pay him $80 or whatever, and let him check it out for an hour to see what kind of shape the thing is in. Juan Shakunin says, Scotty, I want to buy a third generation Toyota Supra. Are they really that unreliable of a car? I'd like to know from your experience. Okay, if you get one that's not really high mileage and it's a decent car, it can be a fun car to drive around. But it's not an everyday driver because it's just too old. You gotta check out through the VIN number and ask an expert like me, because let's say it's the one that had the double overhead cam 6-cylinder engine that had problems with the cams. I would not buy one of those unless somebody can prove that they've replaced the cams in them, because that's a really big expense. And even though they're Toyotas, you have to understand that they're so old that sometimes you can't even get the parts. I had a customer with one, and it needed certain electronic parts. I called the Toyota dealer. They said, no, we don't make parts for that car anymore. It's too old, and we don't have those particular parts for the fuel injection system. Who wants to buy a car that you can't buy parts for? Now, if you're going to radically modify it, say turn it into a drift car, or just tear everything off the top of the head and run carburetors or something, go right ahead if you want to modify it like that. But as a stock car, I don't advise buying one as an everyday driver. Stone Skin says, Scotty, a Toyota Yaris, is it a good car to buy used for daily uses? Well, it can be. I just worked on one the other day. It's got 140,000 miles on it and still runs okay. You know, they're a smaller car, and, you know, they don't have that much pickup, and if you don't mind the ride, they're going to be a rougher ride because their wheelbase is so small. The smaller the wheelbase of a car, of course, the worse it's going to ride. So if you don't mind the way they ride, use it for a daily work car, go ahead, you know. Now, if you can drive a standard transmission and you can find one, they're much better, because the automatics, they don't have that much power, and they idle a little weak with the strain of an automatic transmission. But even with an automatic, they can last a long time.
So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.